everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Pinterest, on Patreon, a variety of places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing about how I teach the song Old Woman's Skin and Bone and how I do that with Orff instruments and how you might do that too, layering in 3 different parts and how you can teach a little bit of the history and explore that with your kiddos if you want. That's coming up in just a second. If you hear about a resource or a cool thing or a book or something in any of these videos and you're like, I want to know more about that, you can always check out the links page on my blog. It's makemomentsmatter.org under the video tab, or you can just click the link at wherever you're watching or listening to this video, and you should be able to go directly to that links page where you can find all the details and all the cool stuff. Okay, before I get going talking about Old Woman's Skin and Bone, I gotta just share, y'all, it's fall, so I have my fall music apparel on. It's like the perfect time. It's like finally like feeling a little chilly here in Kansas City, and it's like finally feeling like, ooh, I can wear a jacket and like turn on the seat heater in my car in the morning, which like for the next 2 weeks will be really fun, and then it'll be too cold. But anyway, I'm wearing my fun new shirt from Musically Minted. Of course, it is from Musically Minted because all cute like music teacher shirts are from there, and apparel and whatever else. For example, if you should need, a coffee cozy, you got this cool, amazing candy corn one. Gotta love that. I also have the candy corn shirt to match. But anyway, this autumn leaves one is sort of new, so go check that out. Let's see. I gotta make sure my new mic is working. Facebook, can you hear me? We'll see. Anyway, drop a comment if you can hear me, Facebook. Okay, so speaking of candy corn, I have an exciting book to share that is not a Halloween candy corn book. You would think. No, this is called Candy Corn Christmas. This was recently sent to me, and it is a delight. Let me just share just a couple pages because you're going to want to get this now before we get to the holidays. And by that I mean winter holidays, because this one is Candy Corn Christmas. What? Okay, this is by Jonathan Fenske. I think I'm saying that wrong. Fenske, but check it out when you look at the book online. Halloween had come and gone, but one confection lingered on, and pantry shelves became the haunts of candy corn that no one wants. Which is not true. It's not true. I am actively buying candy corn. It's harvest season, right? And I can barely keep it on the shelves. So this part I disagree with. Okay. They were the candy time forgot. They did not mold. They did not rot. They sat around the pumpkin pail, feeling bored and kind of stale. Again, not true. That's those off-brand Jolly Ranchers and Warheads that like come in the multi-pack that nobody wants. So it's not candy corn. We're just going to be honest about that. But change was coming. Winter cheer was drifting through the atmosphere. The air was full of lovely smells. They heard singing. They heard bells. What's going on? We need to know. There must be more to life. Let's go. They rattled down the hall and found a wonderland of sight and sound. Giant snowflakes, gifts with bows, a reindeer with a glowing nose. Stockings hung, a plastic mouse, a shiny tree inside the house. The candy corn exclaimed with glee, "What is this magic land we see? It's Christmas!" squeaked a sugar plum, which I'm pretty sure that's how sugar plums sound. Okay. Well, watch out, Christmas. Here we come. Okay, also, I just love all the little candy corn, this one's wearing a little spinny hat and all the different expressions and like, it's just adorable. This one has a little eye patch. You gotta love this. Okay. They stuffed the stockings, clogged the nog, scampered over the Yuletide log, and had the nerve to zip and zoom through Gumdrop's tidy living room. They mingled with a watchful elf that sat alone upon a shelf, and left their sticky fingerprints on candlesticks and ornaments. Okay, obviously, they're gonna get some pushback. But when they clambered up the tree, a candy corn yelled angrily. A candy corn would never yell angrily. Sorry, let me say that again. But when they clambered up the tree, a candy cane yelled angrily. I think I speak for all of us. Stop making such an awful fuss. I'm made for Christmas. Yes, I am. You had your holiday. Now scram! The candy corn stopped in their tracks. Their faces dropped like candle wax. I guess you're right. We don't belong. Enjoy your special day. So long. Okay, then obviously Santa falls down the chimney. Adorable. And Santa said, did I overhear a candy cane had lost its cheer? And with a laugh, he turned and saw the candy corn, who stared in awe. What's this? The newest reindeer kibble? He picked one up. He took a nibble. Striped and waxy, kind of chewy, sticky sweet, a little gooey. He rubbed his tummy, gave a grin. Ho, 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 they fit right in. Then Santa, humming merrily, placed all his gifts beneath the tree, and patted Cain upon the head and leaned in close and gently said, you're made for Christmas, this is true, but Christmas isn't just for you. No, Christmas is for everyone. Let candy corn enjoy the fun. Okay, so obviously the candy corn becomes a part of the Christmas holiday. Just delightful, right? Okay, anyway, and then they're like making connections like, okay, striped, sweet, and sticky candy corns and candy canes. Hilarious. So, super sweet book. And I'm hoping that this one goes viral. And Brock's, maker of my favorite candy ever. I hope Brock's reads this and goes, oh my gosh, we need to sponsor this. And also, we should make a Christmas candy corn. Like, that's my hope. That's my hope. But not sure if that's going to happen. Anyway, no matter what, I'm going to sit here and enjoy my candy corn now and later. Also, pro tip. People say, David, have you tried candy corn with roasted peanuts? Obviously, right? That's like candy corn 102. Candy corn 101 is just eat the candy corn. Candy corn 102 is with peanuts. Have you tried it with dried roasted almonds? I'm not going to say you must, but and I'm not going to say it's life-changing, but it will probably be afternoon-changing. Maybe even week-changing. I don't know. Go try it out. Anyway, Candy Corn Christmas. This is by Jonathan Fenske. Delightful little book. And you're going to have to go check it out. I linked it on the links page. It's super, super sweet. Literally and figuratively. And because it kiss candy corn. Anyway, super cute book. Go check it out. I'm going to try not to only eat candy corn for the rest of this video. In fact, I'm going to put it over here where I can't get to it as easily. Anyway, check that out. Super cute book. It's linked on the links page. Okay. Old Woman Skin and Bone. This is one I teach. I think you can teach it at whatever grade you want. I think it's pretty versatile. And I'm going to talk about what I do with the Orff instruments with this and sort of how I teach the story. But whenever I teach a song that has like new vocabulary or a context maybe my students don't know, I always like to give them more context and like talk them through some of the vocabulary. So years and years ago, I made these favorite folk song sets, and I originally thought I was going to use them for bulletin boards, and you can print them off just like this and put them out on bulletin boards. That's why there are signs like Old Woman Skin and Bone, our favorite folk song of the week, because maybe you'd use it as a bulletin board, but you could also use it. I have it, if you are interested in this, I have a digital resource like this. It comes as a PDF or as a PowerPoint. So like if you're like, oh, I really like that, I want to use it. You can use it as a bulletin board. You can use it as you teach. It's sort of a teaching tool as more of like a PowerPoint. But anyway, when I talk through here, a couple things I talk about. Obviously the song. We talk about what a folk song is. Long history. This was first written down in 1783. There are many different versions of this. The one that we use in class is the easiest, and then there's like a really tricky melody. We talk about vocabulary words like skin and bone. What does that actually mean? It does not actually mean just skin and bone. It's just another way to say like someone's very skinny or so skinny you can see their bones through their skin. It does not actually mean just skin and bone. I also like to talk about when we do these songs, like there are different variations, just like I love using the hamburger example where like you could have it or a cheeseburger. You could have a cheeseburger, maybe 3 patties, maybe 1 patty, maybe it's a veggie patty, maybe you have the spicy cheese, maybe you have regular cheese, maybe you have it in a lettuce wrap. I mean, like there are various variations of what is a cheeseburger, and so that's the same for songs. They change and then adapt over time. We also talk about scary songs. Some people really like scary songs, but don't worry, you're safe with your teacher in the music room. Like it's not really scary. In fact, this song, I don't know if it's even scary at all. If you listen to the words, is it scary? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, what else is in here? Oh yeah, use your context clues. This song doesn't give us all the answers. In fact, it leaves us with lots of questions. Why is the woman so skinny? Why did she walk by the graveyard? What were bones doing laying on the ground? What did she find in the closet? You have to use the clues in the song gives you in your imagination to decide. So it's just little thing. Okay, and here's the American version. The Irish version is nuts. But then also there's a page at the end also with like media links. So if you like want to go watch different people do it, or if you want a lyrics page, things like that, that's all included in that resource. I like to have that all in one place because that means I don't have to go like searching for those things every time I teach it. It gives me a chance to like have it all in one place. But also if I want to print it out and use it as a bulletin board, even if I've used it as like a visual, like I use the PowerPoint in class, I could print out the bulletin board stuff and put it out in the hallway, and it just reinforces as kids walk by. They'll remember the song, they'll probably start singing the song, but also it gives them some of the more of those facts that they can digest when they're maybe standing out in the hallway just, chilling out. Okay, so when I teach this song, I teach it with me at an Orff instrument, usually a bass. I haul up a bass to the front of the room. I have, not a bass here, I have an alto here, but there was an old woman, all skin and bone. Ooh. That's the version I do with every subsequent verse. But I know some people do ooh, ooh, ooh. I do it that version with just a descending, A G F E D, because I do it where it's an open fifth D and A. That's what I use for my Bordoon for my drone. Ooh, sorry, Facebook, you can't see my phone. Okay, sorry, you can't see this, but it's here. Okay, so when I sing it to kids, I just sing the whole song through, and I sort of tell it as a story. Like I stop every verse and we talk about, wait, why is she walking by the graveyard? Is that scary? I stop and I make it less of like a spooky, scary thing and more of like we talk through that. But I usually, once I'm done explaining some of the things and then I get to the final version, I don't get to the boo part until the very, very end. And we've like stopped and talked through many times, and I'm probably like, Mr. Rogers, finish the song. Right. So I start over, I sing it all through. But like I'll stop along the way and be like, she saw some bones a-laying around. Ooh. And I stop on purpose and talk because I want them to keep hearing the ooh and just get that in their head so often that they just start repeating it on their own. But also I stop to like explain, like, bones laying around. What bones? Did some dog bring its dog bone out? We don't know. It doesn't say in the song. Did somebody go to KFC and they threw their trash out on the road and their chicken bones out on the road? We don't know. It doesn't say. Could they be human bones? Could they be dinosaur bones? It doesn't say. We have to use our clues and decide. Anyway, so we stop and we sing through, but the last time we'll do, she went to the closet to get a broom. Ooh, she opened the door and I'll play really loud that last time. It's sort of a surprise. And we talk about, are you scared or are you surprised? Sometimes the best things about Halloween are that people like to surprise us. Is it scare? Not always. Sometimes it's just jumping out, and people call that like a jump scare, but really it's a surprise, right? So anyway, it's just fun to talk about that with kids and explain, like differences or whatever. Okay, so Old Woman Skin and Bone, it's super fun to play. What do I have kids do? Well, we get out the instruments, and one of the things that they do is just to play the steady beat. It's tricky because it's so slow. There was an old woman, all skin and bone. Ooh. So often with my kids, it becomes this. There was an old woman, all skin and bone, ooh, at first. And then I'll say, you know what, sometimes to make songs more spooky, we slow them down and get quiet. There was an old woman, all skin and bone, ooh. So that's a fun, easy thing to get them to not play so hard and to slow it down. If you say like, it's part of the thing, is you slow it down and you get quiet to sort of be more spooky. Okay, so what they're doing is they're playing just on an open D and a D and an A, just an open fifth. To help them with that, I'll have them take off the C and just put it in the box. And I'll usually have them take off the B as well, just so they have those 5 notes right in front of them. It helps for what they're going to do next as well. This is usually, since it's earlier in the school year, it's a chance for us to remember, like, how do you take off bars? What does that look like? What are some things? So at my school, I just have them set the bars in the box. But I know some people prefer to have the bars off on the side or the bars somewhere else or whatever. But that's just what I have kids do, is put the bars in the box, because then it's really easy to know exactly where a bar goes when you put it back on. Okay, so the first kids, everyone does this. Everyone plays this open fifth, and we all do the steady beat. We sing through the whole song. We do it with the D and A. And then the next thing is ooh. All I have to say is it starts on A. Can you figure it out? And like within a minute, they've got it, right? So then I'll say, I'm going to do the steady beat. Ooh, sorry, I hit my mic. I'm going to do the steady beat. I don't know, can you still hear me, Facebook? I hope. Anyway, okay, so I'll do the steady beat. You do the oohs. There was an old woman, all skin and bone. Ooh. So they're in charge of doing that part. I'll just do, there was a woman, all skin and bone. Ooh. So at first we sing through the song once or twice where they just kept that steady beat on a D and an A. Then we'll sing through it again where they're in charge of the ooh, A, G, F, E, D, right? And so then that's a really easy thing for them to add. And then I say, you know, it'd be fun. Sometimes it's fun to add a little sparkle and a little mystery in there. So let's put the B back on. And this is the last part we learned when we put it all together. There was an old woman, all skin and bone. Ooh. Now, you could take off bars so it feels like it's in La pentatonic, so you have like a La pentatonic thing, and you could like improvise or do something else, but then the glissando would be La pentatonic. I think it's fine as it is if you just take off C on the bottom. It's fun and mysterious, and all the kids love to do that, but I say again, it's not that scary if you go, ooh. It needs to be slow and it needs to be quiet. Ooh. And then when we're ready to, like, so all kids learn all the parts. They do the version where they're only just doing the open fifth, right, where they're doing the steady beat. They do the version where they all go, ooh. They do the version where they all do the glissando at the end. And then we split it up. I have my basses keep this open fifth. And then I have, usually my soprano and alto xylophones do the ooh, and then all the metals I have go like this. So glockenspiels and metallophones. They all get different parts. We play it. We do all those 3 parts together, and then we'll rotate so that different kids can play different parts. What else can you do? You could add in a part for improvisation. You could have kids switch in and out. You could bring in other non-pitched instruments like a vibraslap or something like wind chimes, or I mean, you could amp this up however you wanted, but this is a really easy bass, sort of just a simple arrangement where you have some kids playing the drone on the D and A, some kids playing that da 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 da, that descending pattern, and then kids going like this little color part. Very, very easy to put together. And like I said, all kids learn all the parts, so then when you rotate, you're not like you're not teaching to a new thing. They're just like, oh, we played this before, but I played it over there. Now on this instrument I play blah blah blah. You can have whatever you want. So it's a very simple song to put together, super fun. Like I said, if you want to use this favorite folk song set that I made, it's really great for context to give kids more understanding about what do the words mean. Why do we do it? And it gives you a visual to put up and something easy for kids to latch onto. So it's a pretty fun resource to have. I put that link on the links page in case you're interested in that. I also put a link to the brand new, it just came out like what, last month, Candy Corn Christmas. You're going to want to get this for the holidays. Not this current one. You have time. But it's going to be perfect. Well, I guess you could do it now, but it's going to be perfect for Christmas and Yuletide, you know. So anyway, a super fun Old Woman Skin and Bone song. The Candy Corn book is super fun. I hope that gave you some ideas of what you could do this week and next as you're getting ready for the big spooky holiday. But I'll be back next week with some more ideas. If you have ideas about this song, you love it, you use it, please put those in the comments and other folks will come through and read those as they go. But yeah, if you have any other ideas, please put them in there. Otherwise, I'll see y'all next week for another Musical Mondays video. Good night, everyone.